our Kenyans to be homeowners, right? That is what we're trying to do. We want our people to be homeowners.
You say they have different issues. I'll just enumerate one or two if you allow me. I mean, first, some say, why would somebody be forced to pay the tax, yet they may not necessarily buy into the plan?
That's where you're getting it wrong, because we are misleading people by telling them that it is a tax. It is not a tax. It is a saving. It is a saving and a contribution towards owning a home. All right? It is not a tax. And people, unfortunately, are called, it is not a tax. It is a saving, a contribution, right? That ultimately, even if you don't get a house, right, that money goes back to the individual.
Right.
Yeah? And that is why I talked about initially building and developing a culture of saving in society. All right? Okay?
Right.
So when we now are out there saying that we're taxing, it's like you're taking money away from people. That's not what we're doing, right? Okay. What we're doing is saying you're contributing, and ultimately your contribution is helping you become a homeowner.
Fair enough.
That is what we're doing.
Right. Right. So what do
choice?
Yeah.
Sorry?
It should be by
you
choice.
See, this is where we're saying, if you say by choice, right? We have had all these independent, and that's what I'm saying, you know, let's not go too far. All right? Let's not go too far. Right? I've just told you here, right? Gentlemen, we are living in a scenario where, as a country since independence, we have less than 500,000 mortgage holders. Less. I think it's actually probably closer to 200,000. Right? Right? And you can do this homework for yourself. Right? We have people, right? When you go and try and borrow for a house, you're given a loan for 5 years. My friend, 5 years. How do you repay, yeah? A loan for a house in 5 years? And this is what encourages all these corrupt practices. And that's why we're saying we have to build a system, right? Culture. Where somebody, and a culture, where somebody is able to say, look, I know I can borrow for 20 years because I know, nimetoka shule, nimepata kazi, I have 20, 30 years of work life, right? Then I can have an affordable mortgage, right? Now, if government doesn't get involved in that process, if all Kenyans don't get involved in that process, we continue with this system that becomes exorbitant. And that is why you don't have affordable housing in the country, right? So you need to actually look as to where we are coming from and where we are trying to go to. Yeah? And what we're trying to say is that if we want Kenyans to be homeowners, we must develop and build products, right, that actually make that possible, right? And that's what we're trying to do.
Mheshimiwa Rais, mojawapo
and like ni vizuri nimalize hapa. And that is why I'm saying we are not actually, even when people go to court, we're not forcing it, as you've seen.
Yeah.
We keep saying, kujeni tukae, let us explain to you, hivi ndivyo tunajaribu kufanya, hivi ndivyo tunajaribu kufanya, kwa sababu hii swali yako ni gani, shida yako ni gani, tunakuelezea. And the majority who have had the opportunity to be explained to, yeah, they actually begin to understand. Because you say, if you go to today's current mortgage market, as he's saying, the choice of individual, right?
It's only a foolish woman who takes serious promises made by a naked man. And before we dissect further, kindly just have a look at this short bite.
Wawache vitisho bwana, kwa sababu Kenya hii sasa ni vitisho. Watu wanauziwa uoga, wanauziwa wewe ukito utafanyiwa hii kura ati ajira. I am waiting for the members of parliament who will go and vote against the plan.
That is exactly how President Ruto fooled Kenyans during the campaign period. Now, you and I have to agree that the affordable housing plan is an idea whose time has come. But many Kenyans are differing with President William Samoei Ruto based on the methodology that he is using in its implementation. And here are 5 questions that if the government categorically answers them, then there will be no any push and pull between the government and the taxpayers' man. Number 1, the government needs to explain to Kenyans how useful a house shall be to a Kenyan who's been hungry for days. Or is it that the government is trying to drive the analogy that it is better to sleep hungry but in a decent house? Basing on the basic knowledge of economics, though I'm not an economist, when the economy is stable, then automatically everyone shall be able to afford a decent house. But when the vice versa happens, it becomes next to impossible for you to afford rent, if I'm not to mention of food. Question number 2, what of those who are jobless? Considering the fact that they don't have any payslip, how are they catered for in this affordable housing program? And in fact, if I'm just to consider the rates of unemployment in Kenya, then that raises more questions than answers, simply because how are they going to be included in the near future in this plan, having not contributed anything in this project? Or is the president meaning that he is also going to tax those who are going to be working in those construction sites just for they to be part of this program? Question 3, what is the mechanism that the government has put in place so that it may not result into any inconveniences in the near future, such that if I want a house in Kilifi, it will be there readily available for me? Or likewise, if I want a house in Bomet, it will be there ready waiting for me? Because no one would want a scenario where I'm forced to own a house in Kadonzweni while I'm willingly ready to stay with my family in Bungoma. How are they going to solve all these inconveniences? Or maybe if they will be readily available in our own areas of interest, then that might be a very good plan. And question number 4, what if I've already built and I don't see the need of having another house? Or maybe what if I'm planning to relocate to the States in the near future? Why forcefully impose the 3% levy on me? As you can see, there are several questions than answers concerning this affordable housing plan. Not until they answer all these questions, the whole plan makes sense more as a scandal than it is as a genuine project. But honestly, that has just been my opinion. If you have a contrary opinion to mine, kindly do feel free to drop them in the comment section and I'll give them a right of reply. And as I come to the penultimate part of this video, in case if you're watching me for the very first time, kindly just consider hitting on the subscribe button. If you've been watching my videos and you've not subscribed, kindly just consider hitting on the subscribe button. And more so, if you're watching me from a different platform, either Telegram, TikTok or Facebook, kindly just head on over to YouTube, search for Mohamed Sudi. I'll be the first right person to pop up if matters socio-economic and political matters are your great areas of concern. Kindly do consider hitting on the subscribe button so that each and every time that I upload a new video, it will automatically reflect on your notification panel. And by so doing, you'll simply be supporting my content. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Housing levy. That housing levy is actually meant for workers, for the low-income people. That's why it's called low-income housing. And if you do that, you'll be able to actually create more wealth down there and more and change the status of the workers down there. So this is something that actually should have been promoted by the trade union. Court is the one who should be leading this process.
Tunalipwa na ushuru ya hawa wananchi. Tuwe na utu. Tukiambiwa make a small contribution, ili huyu mtoto wa huyu mwananchi ambaye anatulipa mshahara yetu kupitia kwa ushuru ile analipa, hata na yeye mtoto yake apate ajira kwa mambo ya affordable housing, na yeye apate nafasi ya kupata nyumba ile affordable, na yeye pia alipe badala ya mortgage 17% akuja hapo 5%. Tungangane hapo sisi wote. Iko makosa hapo? Nasikia watu wengi wananiambia, wewe bwana president, sasa hii kazi ya nyumba hii nilikuwa naongea na walimu jana. Walimu wananiambia sasa mimi nini yangu ni 30,000. Sasa 3% ni shilingi 900. Hii 900 sasa hii ni pesa mingi sana. Sasa mimi namuuliza, wewe mwalimu ndugu yangu, wale ambao watafaidika na hii fund ni watoto wa Kenya. Pengine hata mtoto wako ni mmoja wao ambao watapata ajira. Si ni kweli? Kama hatapata ajira kwa mjengo, pengine yeye ni quantity surveyor, pengine yeye ni fundi, pengine yeye anafanya kwa factory ya simiti, pengine yeye anafanya kwa factory ya chuma, pengine yeye ni transporter, pengine yeye anauza kwa hardware. Kwa sababu hiyo watu wote watafaidika na hii mpango. Mnanielewa? Iko makosa tukichangia watoto wetu wa Kenya 1,000,000 wapate ajira kila mwaka? Iko makosa tumefanya? That is all we are saying. Ili huyu mjamaa, si mmesikia huyu mungwana? Huyu mungwana ni mtu wa jua kali. Huyu namjua. Saa hii ako na nyumba pale Park Road, mahali wadosi wanakaa, hata yeye ako hapo. Kwa sababu ile nyumba anaishi tumepunguza gharama ya kujenga. Nyumba ambayo ingetugharimu shilingi milioni 15, sasa hiyo nyumba inatugharimu shilingi milioni 3. We have brought it down. We have removed the cost of the land, we have removed the taxes, we have reduced the cost of the construction, so that we can have a country where all of us are equal. Na unajua, mimi sitaki kuwa mtu muongo. Nilisema tutapanga ajira ya vijana wetu, na hiyo ndio mpango. Tupange ajira. Na nilikuwa na hawa watu wote, tulikuwa na wabunge hawa, si tulisema mheshimiwa tutapanga ajira ya watoto wetu. Sasa msiniruke. Tuko pamoja katika hii safari mpaka tupange ajira ya hawa watu wa Embu. Watu wa Embu tunaelewana? Tunaelewana? Ndio nasema tuwe na hii mpango ya housing, tuwe na mpango ya value addition agro processing, na hiyo ingine tuwe na mpango ya digital jobs, ili tuhakikisha kwamba tunapanga ajira ya vijana wa taifa letu la Kenya, because it is urgent for us to have a plan on how the millions of young people in Kenya have an opportunity to work for themselves, to work for their families, and to contribute their energy, their talent, and their expertise in driving the economy of our country. Sijui kama tumeelewana. Na niko tayari kujibu maswali. Yule mtu wako na maswali aniulize, because I am ready to answer. Karinda, si usemeko kitu.